wonder if I turn the stove off.
Hey, Mr. Native, can I have a native name?
Yes. Yes, I can give you a name.
I wonder what it's gonna be.
This name was given to me from the ancestors up above, from the birds flying around. I've heard it in the wind. Your name shall be Hawk.
Maybe it's Hawk Spirit or Hawk Wisdom.
Hawk 2.
Sunny Lee may have taken the win with the Olympics trend, but Eagle Blackwood takes the cake for this one. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also do not forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. So yeah, if you guys didn't listen to last week's podcast episode, I did mention that I was gonna take a break and, you know, do this thing that we're gonna do. We're doing a blog video. So basically I went to the Houston Horror Film Festival and it was my first time going. It was a little bit different than the other conventions I'm used to going. So I've been to Comic-Palooza, and honestly, Anime Matsuri is also happening right now. But I was like, I've been to Anime Matsuri, and I'll talk about it at the end of the video. But I was like, let's give this festival a chance and see what's all about. I did find out like some of the celebrity guests, I think everybody was mostly focusing on Twilight. So we had Ashley Green, Jason Radborn, Keelan Lutz, and then Peter, whatever his last name is, I can't pronounce it, but he plays Carlisle. They were all gonna be there, and I think maybe that's why the event was such a success, because when I got there, I could not find parking, but miraculously, or I don't know how it happened, I found one empty spot like close to the entry of the venue, and I'm like, how did people miss this one? And I just parked like nothing. After that, I'm like, I'm not leaving, you know. Yeah, it was a good event. There were a lot of vendors, I will admit that, you know, and everybody was selling like horror theme basically. And so when I got there, you know, basically my main thing too was that I was gonna go ahead and get a picture with the guy that played Jason Vorhees and Freddy vs. Jason. His name is Ken Kirzinger. I don't even know how you guys pronounce his last name. But I was like, I'm a big fan of, you know, Freddy vs. Jason. That was basically the first horror movie that I ever watched. And we're going to talk about it at the very end of the video. But I was like, that was my main thing. And then my brother was like, hey, you're going to the film festival? Can I send you some pops for you to get them signed? You know, and I'm like, I guess, you know. So I did my brother a favor. And so I went ahead and met Bonnie Aarons, who also plays the nun, you know, in the Conjuring series. And we had a chat. So I'm obviously going to insert those clips. Like, I will admit, I probably spent maybe like an hour, so maybe 2 hours to look around the whole venue and see what they had to offer. And then after that, I got bored. So I had to be there until maybe like 6 o'clock, because that's when the photo ops was scheduled for Ken to appear. And I was just like, great, what am I going to do for the next 2.5 hours, I think. So like part of it, I did spend it at the venue just sitting, you know, looking at everybody else. But then I got tired because, of course, it was a lot of walking. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to chill in the car. Because also, like, because it was so crowded in there, like, I did get hot. So I was like, nah, yeah, I'm going to chill in the car. I'm not leaving. And, you know, there's going to be a video there, too. So, yeah, basically the blog video is just me exploring the venue, what they have to offer, in case if you guys don't know what they have. And then potentially maybe next year or whenever they decide to come back, you might be like, okay, maybe we'll go ahead and give it a try. But yeah, there were a lot of horror celebrity guests. Again, Twilight was not really horror, so I don't know. But I did manage to get a few celebrities from one particular area, or like they call it the ballroom, whatever. They were like, they didn't care if you were recording people, so I was like, okay. But until I went to the other side of the venue, there was like the most well-known celebrities, like Fiona Dourif, who's the daughter of Brad Dourif, who plays Chucky. She's also in there. If you guys haven't seen the Chucky series, please do so. But yeah, she was in there. She plays Nina in the whole series. And I got to see her, and I was like tempted. I'm like, should I get an autograph and all of that? But I'm fucking broke. I'm always broke, guys. So I didn't get a chance to talk to her, and I really wanted to record, like, you know, videos of people interacting. But yeah, security was so fucking strict on that side. Like, as soon as I walked in, one guy was like yelling in my ear saying, hey, don't record. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to be like a dick about it. But I did see police officers on the other side, so I was like, okay, all right, I'll behave, you know. But that didn't stop me from recording other places. And so keep in mind, I didn't record most of the vendors because they did have art pieces and I did want to respect their privacy. So I only recorded like a few things here and there. The blog may not be as long, but we'll make it longer. So yeah, so what we're gonna do is go ahead and kick off the video of, you know, the event, and then after that, at the end of the video, we're gonna do a haul, like the day of when I came back. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the blog started. Well, I arrived here, but can you tell there's freaking no parking? People are just standing, reserving parking. I, for some miracle reason, found something to park on. But yeah, it's packed. It's a packed venue. Let's fucking go. They have speakers blowing behind them. I mean, if you have a Christmas tree that's black, perfect ornaments. You think crochet was something else? Look at a spring trap. There's a big, massive line for Bonnie. Yes.
Well,
you think they will make
I don't know if they're gonna do me.
Yeah.
Y'all have to go on social media and go.
Yeah.
We're done. We want more done. At New Line. At Warner Brothers. We want more done.
Yeah. Everybody, I don't know if you've seen the trend with like the Mexican nun dancing and everything.
Oh, I have.
Yes.
Oh,
I love it. So I'm like, she got popular. I'm pretty sure they're gonna continue with the series.
I want you to answer prayer, girl. You do whatever you want.
I see dead people. I spotted Papa. Say hi, Papa. Turn around. Oh my God. So cute. He creeps me out, but I love him. Slay Queen. This is where the money is at. I need these.
Of the one that we bought. Remember?
I don't need it. He's looking at them like, so what are we? We're in the age where people now collect VHSs. What? All of these. So many. What are you doing here? I don't know why, but this is too funny. So I will admit, I already went through the whole venue like nothing, and now I gotta stay here until 6 o'clock because that's when Ken Kirzinger is gonna do his photo op. So time to waste time. So I decided to take a little break. I already went through all the vendors, and it's not even what, 3:35. And Ken Kirzinger is not doing photo ops until 5:50. That's almost until 6 o'clock. And I'm like, fuck. So I don't know. Like, I'm like, I could leave. But then again, I have a good parking spot. So I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I could just chill here. Like, they have other activities. Like, they have film schedules, but they're like 15 minutes long. And then they're changing movies. And it's not like the ordinary horror movies that we know. I think these are like independent movies, and yeah, sure, I should give it a try, but I'm like, I'm tired. Like, I was sitting for a while. I mean, I'm not gonna eat or anything because all the food over there is overpriced, but at the same time, I'm like, let me just chill in the car for now. So I'm over here just chilling. Maybe I might drive around, get something to eat elsewhere and come back, but it's the parking because I'm in a good spot. Like, I do have shade, but still, I'm like, I don't want people to take my parking spot. And the entrance is like right there. So I'm like, yeah, I think I should just stay here. So what I'm going to do, since we're not doing a podcast episode this week, I still need to talk about some things. I need to talk about D23. So D23 was like an expo full of Disney stuff, in case you don't know. But they made a few announcements. Like, we're talking Mandalorian and Grogu trailers already out. I saw it and I'm already freaking out because I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe we have to wait until 2026. If you guys didn't know, they also did make the announcement that Incredibles 3 is already in production. Toy Story 5, like, I think we talked about this in previous episodes. If they were gonna make a Toy Story 5, like, how in the hell is Woody gonna be back in the picture? And I think they did release a trailer, like a few pictures here and there, and Woody's reunited with the rest of the gang, and I'm like, it's not making sense anymore. And when we did talk about it in the past, I could have sworn, was it Tom Hanks or Tim Allen, somebody was like, it wouldn't make any sense to make another one. So I don't know, are they coming back too? And then we're also getting Frozen 3. I'm like, oh my god, why? I guess, you know, it's for the kids. You know, kids are the ones that need to be entertained, and then they're gonna be persuading their parents like, Mom, can I go watch Frozen again? So makes sense. We also got, I want to say it was the official trailer of Moana 2, so check it out if you haven't. But another thing, I was surprised, 9 Inch Nails is the confirmed producer for the next Tron movie. I'm like, apparently Trent Reznor is not all about rock. He has done electronic too. I mean, of course, since Daft Punk already retired, it makes sense. But I'm like, I need to watch the Tron movies because I'm pretty sure that's going to be like a sequel from the past one, which Daft Punk actually did help produce it. But I'm over here like, damn, 9 Inch Nails, are we getting rock now? So I'm interested in watching that. And then the other thing is that we finally got an up-close look of how Stitch is gonna look in the live-action series of Lilo and Stitch. I don't know. I mean, it's better than that, you know, shitty Sonic that we had in the past. So I'm like, okay, that did him justice. The color, though, I don't know. How are y'all feeling it? Let me know in the comments. The other one is, of course, the trailer for Snow White. And I think for me, the thing that stole the show the most was the evil queen. I was like, yes, Queen Slay! Like, I'm sorry, Snow White, do better. But am I gonna watch it? No. I'm like, I don't get why is the necessity of making these cartoon movies that we grew up watching into live action series. Of course, we also got another sneak peek of, I want to say it was the Mufasa movie, and I'm like, also live action. I'm like, yeah, I get it. We also got a performance with Catherine Hahn being Agatha, you know, kind of promoting where it was Agatha all along. However, everybody else in the cast was joining in, but we were missing Aubrey Plaza. Where was she? I don't know. Or did I miss her? And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, and I could have sworn we talked about this in the past. I gotta re-listen to all my other episodes where I talked about Avatar: The Way of Water, because my prediction was that the next movie was gonna be focusing on fire. And the next Avatar movie is called Fire and Ash. And I'm like, I knew it. Now, my thing is that, okay, what world in Pandora will have fire. The only thing I'm assuming, and I think it's a theory, is that, you know, the humans, the ones that are invading Pandora, is probably gonna set fire into some of the Navi people, like some tribe around Pandora. I don't think it's gonna be like the main tribe that we're known, like we're used to seeing. Probably a different one, but either way, it's gonna be intense. I mean, when I saw the second one, you know, the Way of Water, I was like, yeah, I wasn't shocked. I liked it, but it wasn't to the point where I'm like, I need to rewatch it again. It's like one of the few rarest movies now where it's like, I was entertained. Okay, y'all left me in a cliffhanger, but now I'm just like, I would rather watch the next movie than rewatch Avatar. And I still don't understand how that one made so much money in the box office, but you know what? It is what it is. Either way, and I think we mentioned it before, you know, James Cameron did say, if this next movie, Avatar 3, if it doesn't do that well in the box office, Avatar 4 and 5 are probably gonna get scrapped. You know, who knows? But I'm like, The Way of Water did so well, so we'll wait and see. And I think that one they did say it was gonna be coming out on December 19, 2025, so next year. I'm like, I guess it's a good waiting period, you know, that way they're not rushing into it. I can't wait to see it again, but I'm not gonna be watching it like so many times in a row. So yeah. I gotta head back to the photo ops, but I got 2 Slipknot vinyl records. Let's go.
We need a 12-gauge suppressor.
Success! Alright, let's get out of here. And now we're back. As you can see, I did wanted to do a quick haul, even though like I was broke. You know me, I'm already broke. I'm always broke. So I didn't get to spend much money, but there were a lot of items that I wanted to get. Like, for example, there was this bracelet that I saw of Nightmare Before Christmas, and it had like a little charm. So like, forget James Avery. It was like $10, and I'm like, I could have gotten it, but I didn't have time to go back. And by the time the photo ops was done, I'm like, I'm going home. I'm tired, you know. And so I'm just gonna show you the things that I got. Well, first and foremost, these pops that we got signed was actually for my brother and his half-sister's boyfriend. Yeah, it's a tongue twister, but still. So, these are the pops. So, this is my brother, and this is the long one, yeah. So, we got these signed, and, you know, I did him a favor because he likes to also collect pops, as you can see. I don't know who got him into it. I don't know if it was me or, you know, his half-sister's boyfriend, but you know, I was just like, whatever, you collect them. I don't get them signed because of course I get mines out of the box. There was the guy that played Sweet Tooth, like his voice in the video game, and I was like this close to get it signed, but again I was like, for $50, I'm like, no. And what's the point? Because again, like if it does get signed, yeah, sure, it's gonna be worth a lot of money because these pops are already vaulted. But my thing is that I'm not planning to resell it. That's me. Like, that's how you know I'm a hoarder. I don't collect to resell. I collect and, you know, unbox them. But yeah, and plus, even if I did get it signed, they would be in the box for so long. Like, you can see this one, it's on the sleeve. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't got the space for it. So, yeah, I went ahead and did my brother a favor. And you already know, Bonnie was like, oh my gosh, she was such a sweetheart. I love her to death. And, you know, shout out to her. And that's the thing I wanted to include in case if you guys didn't know. But apparently, you know, I asked her like, hey, what are your thoughts about, you know, the Conjuring series coming to it? And like, will that also include The Nun? But she told me, and I'm letting you guys know in case y'all couldn't hear the video, to just go ahead and just tag, you know, HBO, because they're the ones that are in charge of, you know, possible future projects. And the possibility of The Nun getting a series, I'm like, I can already imagine Homegirl haunting different people. Or like, let's say if like The Nun is like haunting a church, for example, she will be having like different cases. I don't know, like, but I never heard like a horror series like that. Or maybe again, I don't know if there's one in Netflix. I wouldn't be surprised, or any other like streaming platforms. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, if you guys do want to continue seeing like The Conjuring into like a TV series, potentially on HBO or any other other platform services, you can actually like post on social media like she mentioned and tag HBO, but not just HBO, also Warner Brothers, just anybody that has link into that and get that voice heard. So I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. And I'm glad we did that chat. And so she loved that, you know, I was like all into the news and pop culture. So yeah, I'm letting you guys know, if you're fans, go do that. Support Bonnie, because again, I love her. I mean, The Nun, again, we talked about it, like in the Conjuring series, we mentioned it in previous episodes. It's not my cup of tea, but now I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just rewatch it, you know, just for the hell of it, just to support Bonnie, because again, she was cool. Now, since we're already talking about horror, this is something interesting that I got. I got this book by this author named Jason McLeod. And when we were talking, I was like, let me hear him out. I always like to hear people, like, when they do stuff like this, like, what is it that they do, like, their passion that they put into making a book. So, and there were other people that were selling books, but none of them were like, hey, you want to hear my story? Like him, he was like, do you want to get scared? And I was like, okay, you know? And so he's basically a student from Ed and Lorraine Warren. And so he basically made his experience into this book. And this is like part 1 of, I think there was another sequel too. And shout out to him because he actually like signed the book. And, you know, again, he was a sweetheart. So yeah, my real name, but still. Yeah, and so in case if you guys do want to know more about him, here is his stuff. That's him, by the way. And I wanted to give it a read. Apparently, he said that this story is not recommended to be read, like, in the dark. And I'm over here like, okay. I read the back part. Let me see. You guys are more than welcome to pause the video and read all of this. Hopefully you're able to and so see if you're interested in it. When I was reading the back of it, I'm like, all right, I'll get it. I'm not big on books, but we did do a book review for the movie The Stopover. That was like 3 years ago, okay? Like, I want to say it was 3 years ago. And so I'm like, it's been a while since we've done a book review. So yeah, we'll try to read it, but I'm not telling you it's going to be coming out in the next week or so. I take forever reading for the same reason that I fall asleep. So maybe I'll read it like every once in a while, maybe expect it in the next year or so. I can't give you any guarantees, but if you are a horror fan, definitely go check this out. Again, the book is called Dark Sage or Dark Siege. Again, pronunciations are like the worst for me. But if you guys definitely want to like read a book, I recommend this because the guy was definitely a cool guy. So there's that. And then, of course, the records. Oh, my God. I got 2 records from this. Okay, so this company is called Doug Bill Records. Here in Houston, I think we have a few record companies or, you know, shops, whatever. But they never caught my attention. It was more like they're overpriced and whatnot. And I was basically trying to waste time from the Ken Kirzinger pictures because when I got there, I was there really early. And so the lady told me, hey, you know, we're going to start lining people up at 5:35. And when I got there, it was 5. So I had time to waste. So I went back to one of the vendors and I was like, let me see what this guy has. And all I saw was a bunch of records. I do have a record player. Most of my records that I collect is mostly like Slipknot, Rammstein, and Ghost. I don't think I have other records that I collect, but I needed Slipknot records. I have, the ones that I have is We're Not Your Kind. The one that doesn't have All of Life though. And then of course the End for now. And for Rammstein, I think I have the very first one. Zeit is also in there. I think I have the self-titled Rammstein record. I have so many, but I know for Slipknot, I was like, I need the ones that I don't have. So the ones that I got, and shout out to this guy because he was also sweet. So the one I got, self-titled vinyl. How do I not have it? And we got to talk about that. Okay, so I wasn't going to mention it, but I'm like, fuck it. Since we're not doing a podcast episode, let's talk about it right now. Slipknot is doing their 25th anniversary. It's already kicked off. The tour is out there, and I really do want to go. Even though they're not going to be coming to Houston, unfortunately. But I saw their set list. In case you guys didn't know, If you don't know any songs from this album specifically, their very first self-titled album, you're gonna be lost, because that's all they play, literally. And unfortunately, it doesn't have Purity on here. This is like the OG, I guess, but not like, I'm not saying like this is like the first one, no, because they didn't sell vinyls back in '99, or maybe they did. I don't know. I was 4, okay, but still, if you don't know any of these songs, you're gonna be lost. So if you're not like a fan from those days, yeah, no. And me, you guys already know the story. I started listening to Slipknot since 2008, which, you know, we're gonna talk about that in a bit. But in '08, I listened to all of their albums, and that includes the self-titled album. So I'm very familiar with all these songs. Am I willing to go for the tour and see them perform live? Hell yeah. I'm gonna make it work. I don't know how, but I want to make it work. And if you guys do not remember my metal mental breakdown that I have, the video's out there on social media, and we talked about it in one of the episodes. But basically, Slipknot's going to be in Dallas on September 18th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, September 18th. And then the following day, Slaughter to Prevail, Five Finger Death Punch, and Marilyn Manson are going to be in Houston the next day on September 19th. And I really do want to go. Like, I also mentioned, like, Till Lindemann is going to be in San Antonio on September 17th. But I'm like, I'm willing to let Till Lindemann go. I already saw him perform live, you know, with Rammstein, which they already wrapped up their tour, by the way. We're going to talk about that in the following episode. That's too much right there. But I'm like, I really do want to see Slipknot perform all of the songs from this album. Because, yeah, back in 1999, I was 4. I don't know what Slipknot was. Maybe my brother did, because I know he has the first CD. I was 13 when I started listening to Slipknot, so I'm like, yeah. And that's the thing. The first album that I listened to was All Hope Is Gone. And now I needed this in a vinyl. That's why I'm like, oh, we gotta get it. And these were the only 2 Slipknot vinyls that this guy had. So I'm like, hands down, I'm gonna get it. Like, no, yeah. Not only is the self-title, but the very first album I listened to. Like, seriously. And you guys may not know the story. I'll probably talk about it. Like, I'll briefly talk about it. But I talked about it, like, when I got to see them perform live for the first time back in 2021. Yeah, it was late, but hey, you know, hey. Alex the Terrible, for example, he got to see Slipknot perform live, what, last year or a couple months ago? Better late than never, so yeah. But this is the very first album I got to listen to. The very first song was actually Psychosocial. And I got to see them make a brief appearance at this show on MTV called FNTV. I want to say that's what it's called. And the only reason why I watched it was because back then I used to listen to Fall Out Boy too. So there's that. And so the bassist, Pete Wentz, was the host. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give it a try, you know. And they were saying, oh yeah, you know, our guest is going to be Slipknot. And I'm like, I've heard of them. I just actually like not listen to them. And back then, you know, I grew up poor. I didn't have internet. So I couldn't even look it up on YouTube. You know, YouTube did exist back then. So when I got to see the music video that they premiered, I was like, I like this music, you know. And I was already going through the heavy stage because, yeah, I listened to, you know, like Fall Out Boy was like emo music, alternative. It wasn't as heavy. And Slipknot introduced me to heavy metal or new metal, whatever it is, you know, whatever you want to call it. They introduced me to metal. So, yeah, that's why I'm like, and to this day, I mean, yeah, I listen to a mixture of so many songs. Slipknot, I don't care what you guys say. I know there's a lot of hate with everything that's been going on. More reasons of why people don't want to go see them live because the members aren't the OGs, of course. R.I.P. to Paul Gray and Joey Jordison. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm like, it's still them. I gotta support them because, again, we go way back. We go way, way back. It's already, what, been 15 years? I don't even remember. Since '08. I can't do math right now. I never done math now since I graduated, so I don't even know. But y'all do the math, and yeah, since '08, and you know, I've been through so much with their music that, you know, I think a lot of people did notice that. I don't know, like, I do have bad days, but what you see right here is what you get. And I blame heavy metal because, like, I put all my anger, all my depression, all of the shit that I always want to talk into the music, and then I get out all free and spirited. So I guess you would say that would be my therapy. Yeah, I don't need like to go to monthly or weekly sessions for therapy when I have music. So there's that. All right, and the last thing I wanted to show you guys is, of course, the picture. The amazing picture that, again, it's on social media. It's not my profile picture on every other platform except for TikTok and X. That's pretty much it. But yeah, it's already my profile picture on Instagram and Threads, so definitely go check it out. But background on this, if you guys do not know. So the very first horror movie I ever watched was Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah. And I'm not talking like when it first premiered. I remember vaguely like the news. One time I think we were watching it, or like it was playing in the background, and people were like giving a sneak peek of Freddy vs. Jason, and I watched it, and I'm like, I really want to watch it in movie theaters, but that didn't happen. Of course, like my family was religious, so and the only reason why I managed to go watch it was because when it came out in DVD at the time, this was like, I guess my mom was like, fine, you can buy movies, but you know, Hispanic families like that don't know what horror movies are. You can literally sneak anything in. So I mean, she saw the cover. She wasn't gonna like fight it with me, and she bought it for me. So yeah, and once I got to watch it, like ever since then I was a big horror fan. So from then on, like I want to say it was in 2005. So from 2005 all up until, God knows, I want to say maybe like in 8th grade, maybe 9th grade, I was watching nothing but horror movies. But it wasn't like, you know, yeah, it would be like these, like Friday the 13th. Hell, I watched stupid movies like My Bloody Valentine. And there was another stupid movie I watched. I can't put a bell on it. But yeah, oh, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was another one. But this was the one with Jessica Biel in it. I watched so many horror movies, and again, even the stupid ones. And I was like, I really like these movies. That's all I watch, and then, you know, whatever it was on TV. But yeah, I used to be a diehard horror fan. And then when Paranormal Activity became a thing, everybody started, you know, making movies about people being possessed. And I was like, you know me, I have so many opinions on it. And yeah, we were talking about The Conjuring and all of that, which shit is real, sure, but when you make it into a movie, I get bored because it's mostly just jump scares. And I think everybody can agree, it's a lot of unnecessary jump scare, or worse, where you have that feeling where, oh, a scary scene is about to come out and it didn't happen, and you're like relieved, but then all of a sudden, boo, you know, something shows up, and I'm like, no. There's other shit that I've seen like on TikTok, for example, that are kind of like hella creepy, and yeah, okay, we can give that there. Or, you know, if you look up creepypasta on YouTube, that shit's also creepy. But whatever's out in the movie theaters is just like, no. And so ever since then, it just died down for me, and I was like, I guess. But I could never forget about the very first horror movie that I watched. So yeah, Freddy vs. Jason was something that I love near dear to my heart. Hell, I fucking still remember the first line that comes out in the movie, which is, my children, from the very beginning, it was the children that gave me my power. The Springwood Slasher. That's what they call me. And that's Freddy Krueger. I don't know how I still remember that to this fucking day. Literally, that's the thing. I love Freddy vs. Jason. Like, I don't know why. And I remember, like, whenever the movie ended, it kind of ended with a cliffhanger, but we never got to see a sequel of it. And I'm pretty sure the reviews were bad. You know, combining two horror icons was a little bit cliche, I guess you would say. People were thinking, what's next? Jigsaw versus Chucky or something like that. Well, Jigsaw came out later, but still, like, that's the thing. Like, what were the things that were gonna come up? And then now when they make these remakes, it's bad. I think one point in one of the episodes we talked about Leatherface having a remake. IGN rated it like, I think it was a 1 or a 2, and I'm like, for once I agree with them, because sometimes they do give shitty ratings, but I'm assuming this one was no. So it's not the same. And even if they do make a remake for like Jason or which they did on Nightmare on Elm Street with a different actor, which wasn't Robert Englund, it did bad too. So I'm like, You know, like, and we talked about Halloween. Halloween got a, well, it wasn't a remake. It was more like, okay, continuation. And we had Jamie Lee Curtis on there. But again, it just didn't click. So I'm like, ugh. Those back in the days horror icons, it just, oh my God, I just got it too. Scream. Scream is another one. Oh my God, we're tired of seeing Scream. And I've been talking shit about it for so long. How could I possibly forget? But yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, forget all of the remakes. Forget all of that. At the end of the day, I love this picture because it is Ken Kirzinger, which is, again, the guy who played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. And I know some of you guys are like, wait, but you're in Houston. Wasn't Robert Englund in Comic Palooza? I'm like, yeah, he was. And guess where I was at? In Mexico. Doing the other blog, which y'all need to go check out. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to see Robert Englund because I was out of town, which is one of my biggest regrets. But I'm gonna find him when he does like a convention somewhere nearby. I'm gonna make sure I get a picture of him, because if you guys seen Robert Englund now, my boy, please hang in there. Let me see you first, and like, if you need to pass on later, but hang on, okay? Because oh my God, I didn't get an opportunity to meet like Stan Lee, for example. I don't think that was like a rare occasion, but those that did meet Stan Lee, like, lucky. But I never got to meet him, so I'm like, I'm trying to make sure I meet everybody that I can, you know, before they pass on. And I only say that because when I saw Ken Kirzinger, I'm like, oh my God, my boy, he still looks good for his age. Like, he aged like fine wine, but you can see it, and I'm like, so yeah. But other than that, that's all I have. Like, I didn't get anything else for the same reason that either it was overpriced, or, you know, again, I'm cheap as hell. I don't have money. But there were a lot of pops that I did wanted to get, but again, I don't have space. And there was a lot of artist people too. Shout out to them, which they had some good designs. But at the same time, I'm like, what's it's like, I don't know. I want to see like actual art that's made by their hands, which I did see a few. Unfortunately, in respect for the artists, I didn't record it because, again, that's their privacy. But there were some that were really good, and I wish I could support them. But unfortunately, I don't have enough wall space. So that's why I'm like, I can't support my artists, you know, because either they're selling the common things like keychains, earrings, stickers of all things. And so they do their like portraits and all of that. But again, I don't have wall space. So there's that. I'm like, oh well. But I do want to say, for you guys that are watching, definitely go check out these conventions, like, and definitely check out, you know, artists that are selling really good stuff. I think my favorite thing of everything that I saw was like the blacklight stuff, whether if it's art, whether if it's decor, even the pops. As you can tell, I have one like right here with Godzilla, and the one right here with Deadpool. I really do love blacklight stuff. I wish I could have like a blacklight room, but we're not, what, in the 60s or 70s, whatever. I don't know when it was popular. But either way, I have fun. Of course, the Houston Horror Film Fest is ending this weekend. So obviously today is the last day. Also forgot that Anime Matsuri was also today, this past weekend. I was like, I could go, but at the same time, I'm like, no. I mean, I already went. And again, I didn't spend money at this convention. I'm not going to spend money over there either. So it's like, it's a lost cause. Maybe next year. We'll see. I mean, I didn't go to Comic Palooza this year. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And I know some fans or some people that, you know, heard of Anime Matsuri are against going. Because I remember the last time I went there, people were telling me like, oh, there's not going to be a lot of people going because there's some allegations going on. Definitely go check it out, by the way. So I'm like, you know, and yeah, sure, I'm big on anime. Of course, Demon Slayer's right here. But I'm not that big to the point where I'm like, I have to go. So I'm like, yeah, no, we'll go ahead and skip it. Let's go ahead and give Horror Film Fest an opportunity, because I never been. And everybody, by the way, was so nice. We did not bump into a Karen whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, this is good, you know. That's how you know, like horror fans, they're very nice people, very kind, you know. You won't see stuff like that, like where I'm pretty sure you will see it like at Anime Matsuri or Comic Palooza or other conventions, San Diego. But anywho, yeah. So that actually wraps up this week's blog video. I want to say this week's episode, but it's we're not doing a podcast episode. But I'm glad that I did get you guys covered on some things. Of course, D23 was just something. Wow, I was not expecting that it was going to be this weekend. But hey, you know, we got some content in here. So there's that. Of course, if you guys always know the rule, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, or X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you for everybody that has subscribed. Hopefully we do more blog videos and we get more subscribers. I want to say followers. And of course, do not forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. Shout out again to the 1.1k followers on TikTok. But yeah, keep in mind, next week we are going to be having a podcast episode. We're going to be covering maybe more into depth stuff that's been happening at D23. We're probably going to be talking about Slipknot still. But for sure, we're going to keep you guys updated with what's been happening with WWE drama. Oh my God. I've been wanting to talk about that for a while. And we're going to talk about Borderlands. Borderlands didn't do so well in the movie theaters. I still haven't gone to watch it. So I'm like, ugh. And I've seen some people on TikTok that would say, oh, this is me before watching Borderlands. And then they leave and they're like, don't waste your money or time to go watch this film. It sucked. So I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about that too. And other things that you may have missed in pop culture. So I hope you guys did enjoy this vlog video. And I will talk to you guys on the next one.